for sure. Where are we? Where are we? There we are. Okay. So that's going to make open interest a little bit blurry, volume a little bit blurry for the next couple of weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Although we did overall, yeah, we did overall lose about 4,200 estimated open interest yesterday on that drop to the downside. It's been losing open interest to the downside for the last 2 sessions, which leads me to believe this is not really news selling coming in. It's just liquidation of longs.
Yeah, right. For sure.
On the weekly, it's pretty much range bound. So,
hey, where'd you guys get out of trade yesterday? Did you make $1,000 on that one? Yeah, the dead
90 ticks.
Yeah. Nice.
If we held it for the auto liquidator, we probably would have been liquidated 1 tick below the high of the day. But we took 90 ticks out of it. Nice. It only rallied another 15 ticks in the 2 hours or 3 hours after we got out. It didn't move at all after we got out.
No.
So it was a good exit strategy. Went over it with Deanna and Anne-Marie during lunchbox trading. We had a nice roundtable about it. Hogue even jumped in, and Deanna put it in basically black and white for us. She's like,
she's the crude surgeon, anyways.
She knows.
She knows our target until 3 o'clock in the morning anyway.
Yeah, it did rip. It ripped. We couldn't hold it overnight. But,
no.
Yeah, she knows the intricacies of that market. She knows what type of patterns it's likely to display at what time of day, and she basically laid out, at this time of day, sellers are statistically about to start jumping into this market right now. And we did see a little sell-off after we got out of that trade. Nothing heavy, but it didn't really move after we got out either. Again,
no.
The high tick after we closed that trade was somewhere around 12 to 15 ticks higher than where we got out. So it was an excellent exit, good strategy. We held that trade for close to 5 hours.
Yeah, I was going to say, you guys held it a long time.
5 hours later.
But yeah, we took 90 ticks out of 1 lot. Excellent opening range trade. Opening range low held as the dead ass low for the day. 3 days in a row.
3 days. The opening range was at one extreme or the other. I love when a plan comes together.
Exactly.
It's up almost 1.5% this morning. Crude again.
There's a 250 lot in the micros and gold. Keeps bouncing around right now. Well, it was just sitting at 33, 38.20. There's one on the downside too.
I think those 250. Yeah, there's a 250 lot that bounces around there, and I think either it's a hedge to maybe the big or something, because it always seems like that 250 lot's about 15, 20 ticks away. See it pop like right there. You saw it pop up a ladder at 80. See it. You'll see it bounce around. So there's something that goes on there with the. You're right with an elbow.
I've seen it a couple times already. There it is right now.
Yep. There it is. Yep.
Now it's out.
Yep.
Just waiting for an anomaly possibly
in that market.
But economic calendar. Welcome to Talking Fed Day. Eddie, what's our schedule of Fed speak today?
We got a lot going on here. We did have, coming up in about 2 minutes here, we do got Fed Williams and Barkin speaking here. Also, a little later on, Williams will be speaking again at 8:15. Goolsby also speaking here at 10:30. Fred Flintstone and Barney Rebel will be speaking. Feds Williams and Waller will be speaking. There's also 12 o'clock high noon, a White House press briefing. And of course, right after that, everybody's favorite, the Baker Hughes rig count. But as far as the numbers go here, we're not showing too much on the docket, but there's probably, I just expect a lot of talk here today and a lot of comments coming off the wire. So that's what I've got here, and I'm going to hand the ball back off to JD.
You've heard of the dawn of the living dead. Today is the day of the talking Fed.
There you go, Hogue. How long were you saving that one?
It's like a wacky pack.
Sometimes things just pop into my head.
Remember those wacky packs?
Yeah, I do. I love those.
There were some great ones,
kids.
Yep.
You know what? Those go on eBay and try to buy a pack. $25, $30 just for a pack.
Yeah. Really? Wow.
For a pack of what?
JD's not old enough, man.
Yeah, they got stickers like Crest toothpaste was like Crust toothpaste. They'd spoof like all products and stuff.
Yeah.
Comet cleaner was vomit cleaner. Yeah, a lot of
it was funny.
We loved it as kids. Yeah,
that was entertainment.
So watching the wire here, let's see what happens. Williams watch.
Overnight, stocks in Asia closed a little bit higher. Shanghai Composite was down 0.3%. Nikkei was up 1.56%, and the Hang Seng index down up 0.4%. I always get corrected on the pronunciation of the Hang Seng in the chat.
Hang Seng.
Could just be Hang Seng. Could just be my musical Chicago accent. But
yeah,
all right, we got God on our side now. I can speak whatever I want.
That's right.
Hey, we got
markets
Williams
in Europe.
A couple comments real quick here from Williams.
Williams is cooking already.
Yeah. Here's the thing. He's not going to be commenting on economic and monetary policies, but he did say now is a time of great uncertainty and change. No, he's really not giving us any news there, but I'll watch for any hot biscuits. Like I said, we got Larkin in the background also. So back to you, JD. You had something.
Thank you. Barkin's not a voting member either of the Fed this year. Likely will be. Thomas Barkin's the head of the Richmond Fed. He'll be back in the lineup next year. Fed governors rotate every year, like seasons,
Is Trader Hub down?
I don't know.
Is your Trader Hub working, guys?
It's getting market news, but economic events doesn't seem to be.
Okay.
Oh yeah,
working.
mine is not.
I just noticed because I went to look over to see what was piping across there. So okay, just a heads up.
Markets in Europe currently trading higher this morning. FTSE up 0.35%, the DAX up 0.65%, NICAC up 0.75%. US dollar index 100.37, down about 0.25%. VIX down about 1%, 22.24, and the yield on the 10-year Treasury note resting peacefully at 4.396%. Well, I went on a little digging mission this morning to see if Robert Prevost was ever a trader here at TopStep, if he ever opened a trading combine or was ever a funded trader. Unfortunately, no connections to the Pope here at TopStep yet. We haven't dug deep enough yet. We will find one, I guarantee you.
However, we always leave space for the Holy Spirit.
Always leave some room for the Holy Spirit. Especially
Can we send them a form for the VIP?
Maybe he'd like to come in and be a coach for a week.
Exactly.
I'm sure that Jack has something later in the day regarding it because they asked the Pope if he was a Cubs fan. He said, "No, I'm a Sox fan." There you go.
Yeah, WGN interviewed his brother yesterday, and flat out said he was never a Cubs fan. He has always been a
Sox.
So, God bless that man.
My brother's the Pope. Yeah, bullshit. No. Honestly, my brother's the Pope. Get out of here. Get out of here.
Yeah, get out of here, man.
I didn't watch the interview with his brother. I'm praying that his name was Jim or something. Bob and Jim. Hey, my brother Bob's the Pope.
Stosh.
Out of here, Jim.
Stosh.
Jim's been drinking again.
Yeah, can you just see him at a bar in Chicago going, "Hey, there's my brother." Yeah, right, man.
Get this guy out of here.
Get him out of here.
I'm telling you, man.
He's my brother.
May God strike me dead. See? I'm still here.
Right there. It's my brother Bob. All right. Before we get into the charts, hey, Eddie, what kind of news happened overnight? Well, obviously, we know that big news. What else happened?
Oh, boy. Well, you know what? Let me tell you. U.S. stock futures, they hovered, just like the Holy Spirit. Around both sides of the flat line on Friday today, investors assessed the implications regarding that recent agreement between U.S. and Britain. Dow futures slipped by a Brian Piccolo 41 points. We had the 500 inching up by a Dale Earnhardt 3 points, and the Nasdaq gained Walter Payton 34 points. Main averages on Wall Street yesterday was a gain fueled by the optimism regarding that U.S. deal with the UK, and this could help thaw global trade tensions. With the baseline of 10% U.S. tariff on British imported items, and that will remain in place. The UK said it will lower its duties to 1.8% from 5.1% and grant greater access to U.S. goods. So we do see that markets are turning their focus now on the weekend Treasury meeting between Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent and top trade negotiator Jameson Greer with the Chinese counterparts in Switzerland. Now, crucially, China was omitted from Trump's tariff pause and now faces U.S. duties of about 145%. Beijing responded with its own at 125%. Trump suggested yesterday that the much-anticipated discussion in Geneva on Saturday and Sunday will be substantial, saying that he expects soaring tariffs would eventually be lowered. And that's what I've got here until we get to crude. But back to you, JD.
Thank you, Eddie. Love the chat comments this morning. I don't know why, but I was just reminded. Remember the movie Kingpin? Bill Murray, Woody Harrelson.
Oh, my favorite.
Right here,
Real Munson.
You're real Munson. Like, you're a dictionary salesman. That's the scene I was thinking of.
Oh my god. There's so many good lines out of that movie.
Yeah. Yes, there are.
The new Chicago Pope. I'm a priest. Like, you're a dictionary salesman.
Bill Murray's my hero.
I'm a millionaire. I'm above the law. All right, guys, we got 22 minutes until the opening range trade in crude oil. We're going to take a look at that top of the hour, 8 o'clock a.m. Central Time, opening bell for crude. Until then, happy Friday, everybody. Coach Hoop, Coach Hogue, dazzle us with your charting knowledge, if you please.
Okay, we will do our best, JD. Starting with the weekly and the S&Ps here, if we can get on my charts. I'd like to start the week and end the week looking at the weekly chart. We got kind of a dragonfly doji on the weekly here. A little bit of indecision. Possibly, trying to continue to push to the upside. Right in the middle of the weekly kickoff range. Take a look at the daily. Look at this. We looked below last Friday's range, rejected. We looked above last Friday's range and rejected. We're still inside last Friday's range. So again, a little indecision, a little consolidation here. That's not a bad thing. Market can't go one direction all the time. Sometimes a little consolidation is enough to even out the inventory for its next move in either direction. We added 10,000 in open interest yesterday on that push to the upside. The 30-minute chart looks very, very interesting. But Hoop, do you have anything you want to mention about the daily chart?
Just going back to the weekly, I always been, ever since I've anchored VWAP, and Brian Shannon came on a while ago, I anchored a VWAP to the weekly. We're kind of getting at an inflection point a little bit with the ES and the Nasdaq. To me, we're at the high end of this current range, so it kind of feels like either we're going to bust through this or we might just roll over. So yeah, I'm kind of with you. we're at this point where these candles on the daily keep getting, the ranges are getting, ATRs coming down, everything's kind of squeezing up here. So yeah, we could come, if something comes out of Sunday, we could start to break out of some of the, like you said, that range. That's kind of what I'm seeing right now. Indecision.
Okay. Yep. Well, then that weekly chart that Dragonfly Doji does kind of indicate potential indecision. So a lot of folks are happy that we are going to be talking to China. There was a discussion about 80% tariffs against China, but it's up to Besant or Besant, however you want to say it. That's that big 30-minute bar that occurred right at 6 o'clock, 6:30 around that time. But as far as what is this market doing, and what is it? How is it trying to get there? Overnight inventory maybe a little bit to the long side, but we are inside the range from yesterday. So when we think about that open interest hoop, the move was to the upside yesterday on pretty decent volume. That last 30-minute bar was the highest volume of the day. Maybe we just got too many short time frame longs up there. We had negative delta up there, which would indicate longer time frame buyers against shorter time frame sellers. And it looks like Elvis, who would be the longer time frame buyers up there, left the building at 2:30 and let the short time frame shorts take a little bit of profit yesterday. But overall, I think the move was to the upside yesterday, adding approximately 10,000 in open interest. Tells me there was probably some new buying coming into that. What I don't like about where we are with relation to yesterday's range is we're in a repair area. So it was almost a double distribution trend day to the upside yesterday. We have a distribution of volume down here. You could probably say that a point of control in the lower distribution of volume would be around 56.87 quarter. Upper distribution point of control would be the point of control, volume point of control of the day, which is up around 57.27 even. And we're opening between them. So that kind of lends itself with no economic news. We do have some talking Feds today, but it lends itself to repair, where we're going to probably go up and visit a point of control in the upper distribution of volume and possibly check a distribution of time and of volume in the lower distribution. So I'm going to be sitting on my hands early this morning as far as the equities are concerned. I think that there's going to be better trade locations as the day goes on. The market is opening in range, in value, and
it's Friday.
And it's Friday, right? Yeah, I mean, a lot of energy expended this weekend. No real direction this week, I should say. No real direction. What do you think about it, Hoops?
Yeah, I mean, I just think, I think a lot of people are going to be looking what comes out of this weekend. So no news today in Fed, Palooza. It might be I might stay away from the equities today and just, see how my cattle, and I'm looking at some grain stuff too a little bit here. So yeah, I might just stay out of there for today.
All right. So let's move on to the Nasdaq, which, I mean, you could be talking about the same freaking market here. I mean, we got the excess low. We've been trying to rally. It's been doing okay. This is the weekly chart. And again, we've got that Dragonfly Doji. If it ends right here, if this were the end of the day on Friday, okay, we didn't break. We didn't really rally. You can look at the daily chart here and see, again, we looked below last Friday's low. We looked above last Friday's low, and we're still inside of last Friday's low. What's really changed? Not much. A lot of rangy balance. We added 4,000 in open interest to the upside yesterday, indicating possibly some stronger buyers coming in, maybe some longer time frame buyers. I still don't think that the major adults are in the room yet, but I think we're seeing hints of them. They don't want to be left behind. And not being as price sensitive as day traders, they're willing to pay up. They're willing to sell down. They're willing to do whatever they need to do to make sure that their performance is up to snuff for their clients and their bosses. Anything you want to? I mean, it's almost the same thing.
It's almost identical. I think the only thing I would say is when big money shows up, they might go to the Nasdaq first, just because I think if they don't want to get left behind with the Mag 7, they're going to go after the Metas and the Nvidias. I mean, they're going to go after that. I still think they're going to go after that sector. So
yes, got it. All right. Well, let's take a quick look at the 30, and it's really in a very similar situation. Overnight inventory, maybe a little bit to the long side. All right, well, we got that going for us. But again, we've got the upper distribution of volume that occurred late in the day. We've got the lower distribution of volume that occurred early in the day. Low volume in between, opening between those distributions has the tendency to create repair, where we're going to maybe go up to the point of control in the upper distribution, 20,285 area. Last week's high is in that area as well, 20,276.75. That could be a better trade location than where we are now. We get a look down at the lower distribution of volume, pick a point of control. You can kind of eyeball where it might be. Let's call it around 20,080-ish. Our overnight low looks very interesting to me because that's going to really kind of be the kind of point of control in the lower distribution of volume. Opening between them again. Tendency is to come into repair, better trade locations as the day goes on. Let's just move to crude oil because, I mean, when we're looking at the S&P and the Nasdaq, we're really looking at the same market, aren't we? All right. So this is the weekly in crude. We took a look below weekly kickoff low this week. Nothing but rejection down there. The probable move is to rotate to the upper end of the distribution of time and volume range. We could possibly see 61.90, the weekly kickoff high today. I'm going to just move on to the daily chart now. And there's our rejection below weekly kickoff low and last week's low. Rotating, where are we going to get to? Well, my visual weekly kickoff target would be 61.90 for a rejection below weekly kickoff high. The target would be the upper weekly kickoff high. There was news that came out yesterday. The market got new information yesterday in the fact that we're going to be talking to China. We're the two largest consumers of crude oil, and if there can be some sort of an agreement, that might be positive or depending on how you look at it, might be positive for longs in crude oil. Wouldn't be a positive for us, but we'll see how the gasoline prices change over time. Open interest jumped, but volume is now blurred, right? So while it looks like yesterday we had lower volume in the front month, June, yesterday overall in all of the crude contracts, it was the third highest volume of the year. Think about that. We added 11,000 in open interest on the third largest volume of the year. Buyers came for this market yesterday. We saw it all day. The market really had a hard time breaking. It hung at the highs all day long. Hoops, what are your feelings here or what are you seeing in crude on the daily chart here?
Well, and that was the open interest thing that you just brought up was the big thing. I looked at that and you're talking July, August, September, October, November. I mean, open interest was up across the board. It's a seasonal play too. We are sitting in early May, driving season's upon us. It's a fundamentally bullish time of year too. So, I don't know, cruise, Deanna and I joke around and call it the toxic ex-girlfriend. I mean, I stay away. Every time I think it's going to break out, like I could see us heading towards 62, look like we're going to break out and then just roll over. It's just, every time it seems to want to go, the only thing that would make me, like I said, because of the fundamental time of year, that we could get some extension, maybe up towards 63. But I don't know, man. It's just every time she looks like she's going to go, she just ends up, they just pile in and sell it right back.
Yeah, right. All right, so I'm going to move on to the 30-minute chart on my charts here. So, 3 days in a row, opening range was the dead-ass low on Tuesday, dead-ass high on Wednesday, dead-ass low on Thursday. But what I'm really interested in is we had a P-shaped profile, which indicates short covering. We added open interest. There was short covering meets new buyers. The high yesterday was a very weak high. In other words, every time price came up there, shorter time frame mechanical traders who made money on it the last time took it again and again and again, which was one of the reasons why I didn't have a problem holding on to this till later on in the day. It was a great out on the opening range trade. Don't kid. But I was looking for this market to get all the way up and test this point of control yesterday. It didn't happen. It happened overnight. So now we've got a lot of overnight inventory in this market. I mean, wow. What are we looking at here? We're looking at, let's see. It's 19. We're looking at a dollar move overnight. A lot of overnight longs, a lot of shorter time frame, weaker hands buyers in this market. We've taken out a couple of visual targets in the overnight session. This naked point of control 60-64, a tiny little session gap that goes all the way back to here. And we've checked that in the overnight. Well, what's the next visual target to the upside? Would be weekly kickoff high 6190, 6187, and a visual target in the form of a naked point of control to the upside. Gap rules apply. We're opening above range and value from yesterday. So if we can't close the gap relatively early, that's going to, of course, increase the odds of a continuation move to the upside. It's going to be an interesting opening range trade today, I think, JD and Hoop and Eddie and everybody, because of the fact that we are pretty extended. We're high in the range. Could be another interesting opportunity for us today. Hoop, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm kind of with you there. We're extended. I think could it be the dead ass? If I'm going to lean, I'd say could it be the dead ass high right out of the box? It might, but I would wait to see how that opens here. I'm kind of with you on that one. You could get some action here in a rotation back the other way, but we shall see.
Or if the buyers are still here, run it up to.
We're just running up to 63 bucks.
Yeah, it could happen. Hey, ACH baby, ACH. Let's look at everybody's favorite market now, gold. Okay, the weekly. 1, 2, 3 weeks. It's range bound. It's not breaking. It hasn't broken upside structure. It is in a range bound market state, but it has not yet broken upside structure. Excess high still remains. That excess high, the all-time high, was in the extended trading hour session. This week's high, I believe, was in the extended trading hour session. Those typically are not going to be lasting highs. Could be weeks before we take them out. We could never take them out. Just in probability state, it states that overnight all-time highs, overnight recent highs tend not to be lasting highs. I'm going to just go to the daily real quick. So there's that excess high, weekly kickoff high. Failed to maintain price above it. The rotation would then be to kind of return back to weekly kickoff low or last week's low because we failed above the weekly kickoff high and last week's high. It is coming into rollover. The open interest in the August contract is a little over 1/3 the June contract right now. So we're right at the beginning of rollover. We lost 4,200 contracts yesterday. We lost open interest on Wednesday as well. So 2 days of peeling off open interest, long liquidation, maybe longer time frame, long liquidation. It's kind of hard to know. But I'm not looking at this as new sellers coming in, expecting price to move to the downside. I see this as some profit taking in longer time frames. How do you feel about that?
Biggest one, like on the weekly you were looking at, Hogue, is that ATR is getting through the roof. It's over 130 on the weekly. The daily is another one that's kind of getting extended. So if you're trading it, stick to micros because these ranges, $80 ranges, there's some volatility up here at this top. So it could be, once again, I wouldn't be short in gold, but you're going to get some swings on both sides of it up here. That's just the way it is. I mean, if you look at that 3-minute Hogue, and I hadn't seen this. Let me extend this out real quick. And I hadn't seen this in gold. Where is this? Okay, this is from yesterday. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 straight 30-minute down bars.
Yep.
So, and I was trading in that environment. It was a peach, let me tell you. It's shown some weakness in structure. Does it always? It has rebounded back, but you don't see this a lot. And when it starts to, like you've been saying, Hogue, cracks, I guess I would say, gold has shown some cracks in here. We talked about the island top. I believe me, I'm not just waving my, I'm going to load up and get short, but it's showing some cracks. So that's, that bullhorn is a little bit
further away.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right. So let's look at that island top again. I don't think that I'm seeing this thing rolling over, but I don't see it as really a safe buy until we can close the gap from, what was this? Tuesday, Wednesday to Thursday. Okay, this gap right here, 33, 83, 8, 30, 33, 75, 70. That's the gap that leaves the island top untouched. So it's a session gap from the low of the session on Wednesday to the high of the session yesterday. As long as that gap is not closed, I think that there's likely to probably be some more sell pressure into this. It's not at risk of changing from a upside market state to a down market state for quite a while. I mean, we've got to get below $32. I've got 31.80 at the weekly kickoff low here. There's some targets down there, and there's lots of weaknesses in structure down there for this market to go. But it's only going to become important when it becomes important. So, and on the 30-minute chart, again, just like the equities, we had a distribution of volume on the highs. We had a distribution of volume on the lows. We're opening between them. That tells me that we're going to check one or both of those distributions of volume at some point today. Very low volume yesterday where we are. The market is seeing if there's any business to be transacted in an area that it didn't get a lot of time to do business yesterday. So much like the equities, my thought is let the market open, let an early range establish itself. If we get opportunities near these upper distribution, lower distribution, high volume nodes, then I'm going to really start to be interested. We did take a look below the range from yesterday, almost closing the session gap. It was from here. Okay, this is one of the session gaps that creates the island top. This is the real up gap. This is the down gap that still remains. So we're still looking at an island top, which is a pretty reliable, and it certainly was yesterday, pretty reliable reversal pattern. So again, where the market is, I mean, we got a little bit of overnight inventory maybe to the long side.
Well, and I think also I've leaned a lot over the last week and a half the negative correlation play to equities. As equities have rallied, that's how gold has shown a little weakness in structure. Kind of the only thing I'm a little leery of, if we get more into roll, could that get a little bit skewed? But it's been a really good lean. I mean, gold starts to, if the equities start to rally, gold starts to peel off. That's been kind of a good lean. But once again, as it gets in rollover, it might not be as apparent as it has been. And like I said, if the equities, would break out or something, could gold, roll over a little bit more. So I'm watching that one too. We'll see LGX.
All right. Well, Eddie, why don't you talk us through crude a little bit here as we prepare for the opening range trade?
All right, we're just about ready to open here, top of the hour here. And dude, this is about crude, and I will include some crude. Viewed in a crude. Oil prices edged higher here today. We see adding the previous session gain in trade tensions. Obviously, Brent climbed 1.2% here. We also saw our good friend WTI, West Texas Intermediate, rising 1.3%. And both of these contracts settled nearly 3% higher yesterday. Despite these gains, oil prices still remain close to a 4-year low. And the worries about the heightened economic uncertainty and its impact on crude demand still remained. And that's what I've got here. And we should be opening up here in just a few seconds to see if we got an opportunity in crude. Back to you, Mr. Hoagland.
Thank you, Eddie. All right. We have...
All right, guys. Crude is open for business. Crude is open. Look at that move right on the bell. Selling stepping in. Seller stepping in, I should say. Pretty wide opening range. Wider than we're used to.
15 ticks.
15 ticks.
Yeah, we're seeing some aggressive selling. I mean, we got negative delta at 200 right now. Volume, total volume in the session right now, 900. And so a quarter of it's been on the bid.
A little bit of buying coming in there.
Yeah.
17 tick opening range so far in crude. We're not getting any love on that gold trade. No follow through the downside there.
No, nothing yet. Huh?
Couple more seconds here.
Got some comments over the wire here. Not hot biscuits, but Williams and Barkin comments are hitting the wire here. Barkin talking about consumer confidence so far isn't aligned with spending. Keep an eye on that one. Williams said, I expect growth to slow considerably, inflation and unemployment to be higher. Some of the comments hitting the wire here right now.
Gold's going to go for it.
It's kind of the opposite of what Paul was talking about during his Fed press conference on Wednesday. I don't know where Barkin's
going to get a call in.
Yeah, Powell came out and frankly said there is no data to support any of that at the moment. They are waiting on new data. So pure conjecture coming out of Barkin from the Fed.
And data. What?
Right, we're working our stop to offer on the downside here in crude 60.71. Stop to enter on the upside 60.90.
I want to see it. I want to see it take out the low.
Okay. And yes, Eddie, for everybody in the chat curious, the new Pope is from Chicago. I heard there's a great meme out there. What's the question?
Go ahead.
No, please. I insist.
I take it he was at the 2005 World Series, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, is that building now a holy place? Can we go with?
Yeah, they're going to start putting the ice cream helmets are now going to be okay. I heard.
A little Sunday.
The White Sox need it.
I also saw a great meme that the number one conversation starter around the water cooler at offices in Chicago this morning is going to be, did I ever tell you I'm Catholic? Personally, what I'm waiting for are the stories of his glory days. I want to hear like some dude come out and talk about how his buddy Bob, now the Pope, was just, superb playing the 6 slot in a 16-inch softball league. He had a cannon for an arm.
He was a point guard over at St. Rita. Yeah, something like that.
I like this one from Belky. Belky says Chicago got a Pope before a 4,000-yard passer.
Yeah, yep, that was a popular one floating around yesterday too. Did I ever tell you I'm Catholic?
Maybe we should draft the Pope.
He's been drafted. We'd have to make a trade. We'd have to look into a trade, maybe a first-round draft pick.
Almost came up and took out our stop there in gold, and now it's heading the other direction.
Yeah, look at the equities starting to creep towards the highs.
Yep.
Our stop is right below the overnight low too. So I placed it in a spot because I figured if I got out there, it's going to run that week overnight high. Well, it's not. Can you consider it weak? It happened at about 6:30 this morning, 6:15 this morning. We put in the overnight high, so pretty close to the regular trading hours open. But I just assumed that if we ran up there, we were going to take out that high. So that's why I placed a stop underneath the overnight high. Didn't quite make it though.
Nice place.
Now we're looking at what could possibly be another 5-minute opening range in crude oil.
Hopefully not another 50-minute opening range.
Another big story, guys. A couple days ago, we announced the new live account bonus tier, the new bonus structure for live funded traders. And we've already got 2 traders since that announcement was made collecting on tier 1 this morning. We'll talk more about that during fast markets, but 2 traders have already hit target 1 in the live funded account. $1,000 bonuses going out this morning. They already hit accounts.
Hogue, who would ever thought performance bonuses in trading? It's crazy.
I know, right?
Yeah.
I never got a performance bonus when I was a local in the pit.
It's like pro sports, You hit so many doubles, you get a bonus. You hit over the 7, you get a bonus. Pro ball, baby. Pro ball.
You're right.
Sound
off in the chat. Have you ever had a risk manager come up to you and say, "Great job today. Here's $1,000." Sound off in the chat. Has that ever happened to you as a trader?
Yeah, right. Yeah. Cal made another contract high yesterday, boys.
Wow.
Yep.
I think I got a freezer full of steaks.
Yeah, poor Robert. I told him, eat more chicken.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, well, earlier this morning, Hope, Trump trade advisor Navarro said that the U.S. will be more into beef, poultry, and dairy. You'll be selling more to the U.K. So where does that put us? Does that mean that we've got more than we need? We're going to be selling more to the U.K.
We definitely
we just triggered a short in crude oil, guys. How's count? We got 2 positions on short 1 crude oil, full contract 60.71.
2 biscuits. I'd like to see gold bust through that 33 area.
Where do you like the CYA on that, JD?
I put it up at 60.95. That was our entry price in the trade yesterday, wasn't it? 60.95? No, never mind. That was 58.95.
That was a couple of bucks ago.
Wouldn't surprise me. Crude go test settlement. That wouldn't shock me.
It was 58.96 the long yesterday. 58.96, 97.
Settlement price on at 59.91.
Crude always loves its halves too. See what X gonna have.
Boy, the crude opening range trade is on a roll, man.
It really is. It's been a good week for crude.
3 days in a row. 4th, maybe. We'll see.
See if we take out a half.
Hey, Futch, pay attention. You got an email about it. Yes, you can withdraw your bonus. You just have to be eligible for a payout in order to take your bonus as a payout. Thanks for the comments. Don't pollute our chat with misinformation or disinformation.
Hey, crude right now. Crude right now, 86% short.
Why would we give you a bonus that you couldn't take?
Right.
We'll stick the Pope.
Thanks for the view. Thanks for the view. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe. All right. Short gold, short crude. Any more
I haven't seen crude short like that high in a very long time. It's in the tilt. Cooling off a little bit. 60.83 is the average price there.
Let's see if it takes out a half.
Why does it do that to us, GD? Every time.
Why does
We
it
get something good on and the tilt makes us nervous.
We're not getting any follow through in gold either. We're almost right back on top of our entry price.
Well, I like this comment coming off the wire from Williams saying that Trump comments don't make my job harder.
Sounds about right. Well, we've got about $150 in unrealized profit right now. Not much follow through in gold.
Natural gas is up 3% today.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Higher step right now.
Yeah, it bounced off that half, 60 half. That's very typical of crude. Half, 20s, evens.
Mm-hmm.
The old Nybotter, right?
80s.
80s. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Ooh, Fudge ain't giving up. It's in the small print at the bottom of the email. All right, guys. Anybody that tells you you cannot withdraw your bonus is lying to you. As long as you are eligible to make a payout, take a payout, and you receive a live trader bonus, you can withdraw it. Give you one more chance, Fudge, before you ban you for the day.
Here's a bonus, but you can't have it.
Don't touch it.
Don't touch it. Yeah, it's Mother's Day weekend. That's right.
Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day. To all the mothers out there.
Happy Mother's Day. All you mothers.
My one buddy used to say Happy Mother's Day to me. I'm like, what do you mean? He goes, Happy Mother's Day to the biggest mother I know. I'm like, funny man.
All right. Remember, grandmas, aunts, wives, sisters.
Yep.
They're all mothers. And boy, I tell you, guys, you better go out there and do not forget this weekend. It is Mother's Day. Do not. I don't want to hear it Monday.
Yeah, but I'm going to take the family to Morton's Steakhouse. There's Morton's Steakhouse out here, so we're going to go there next weekend. Yeah.
It was one of my favorite places to entertain clients back in the day.
Downtown there? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Pretty close to where Gibson's was, right? Not too far?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, if you didn't know where it was, you had a hard time finding it.
The wheel of meat at Gibson's, I'll never forget it, when the guy just brings out the tray of just, like 60 ounce of ribeyes and, here's your cut. I'm like, cut. Just give me the angioplasty on the side. Yeah.
Morton's, you got to get the end cut, prime rib.
End cut. Okay.
End cut.
I'm a prime rib guy. Yeah, I like that.
How do you request the end cut? You got to order
you call in. You call in,
I would say.
And you say, I want an end cut. I got a reservation. Here it is. Because
nice. For you?
Yeah,
that's cool.
I love you, Hogue, man. That's great. I can see Hogue calling in. Hey, come in with some clients. I need an end cut.
I want an end cut.
I need 8 end cuts.
That's good. Come on.
How many ribs you got coming out? Give me all the ends.
We're all professional here.
So am I.
Yeah.
Get some follow through on gold to the downside. Crude oil.
Take out this 33.
What's the level, Poop? Got to take out the level.
It's just it's ranging in between 33.33 and 33.41. I'd really like to see it pop below 33. It's just it's the low end of the range. I'd like to see it kind of bust through it.
Well, our stops are in place. We're taking a total of $500 of risk on both of these trades.
And we're just about out of time. My goodness, man.
Yes, Eddie. What kind of tradertainment we got coming everybody's way the rest of the day?
Today, Friday the 9th. If you're just getting here, yes, we had Coach Hoop with us here today. Hello, Coach Hoop. Mo, and Coach Dakota. And we're going to be rolling out the red carpet for the funded traders. Number 6 on the big board. And our main man, Mo Hamid, coming to trade fast markets. And Coach Dakota swinging, locked in over almost about $7,500 yesterday. And Peter Tuckman, of course, at 11. We've got Federico, one of VIP, Deanna's VIP. Is going to be Toby and Andre. Coach Hoop is going to be back for lunchbox trading. Can't keep him away. And Top Quiz. We've got Gabe going to be doing Top Quiz here today. Ben T for Back to the Futures. Zona. We've got Zona. Zona's going to put some time in with Coach Jay. And that's going to be our reversal challenge for Friday. And that's what I've got here so far. So before we say goodbye and we're going to take a break, Coach Hoop, any closing comments?
It's Friday, Capital Preservation Friday. A lot of speakers talking. I would just stay patient today. It's Friday. Mother's Day weekend.
Yes, indeed. JD?
We got a couple trades on. We're almost flat on. We're up unrealized $100 right now. So we'll keep you apprised of these trades. We got our stops in. We will adjust if some of these trades start going our way. But always make sure you're trading with stops. The only thing you can control in trading is your downside risk. Or the only thing that I should say, the only thing that you have any type of control over is your actual downside risk. So make sure you are trading with stops. Protect that capital, and have a great weekend, everybody. I'll be in and out all day long, so I will see you again shortly.
All right. And Hogue, closing comments.
Yeah, it's Capital Preservation Friday. No reason to get all biffed up on a Friday before Mother's Day. Remember, always take that deep breath, stay humble, grateful, creative, and centered in your trading. Pray for peace, and I'll be praying for all you mothers out there. Bless you all.
Thank you, Johnny. Okay, we're going to take a quick break here. Don't go away. Fast Market coming up here.
Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Yes, we will.
Why TopStep? Because traders shouldn't have to risk everything to participate in the markets. And since 2012, we've provided capital to over 10,000 futures traders just like you. From the pits in Chicago to screens in over 143 countries, we've been motivated by one simple idea. We don't care who you are or where you learn to trade. If you pass TopStep's trading evaluation, you'll be invited to trade with our capital in a fully funded account. As a TopStep funded trader, you keep 90% of profits and we take the losses. We also offer educational resources for all levels, live classes, and free group coaching from a team with over a century of professional trading experience. We're invested in your success. So what are you waiting for? Ditch the brokerage account, start learning by doing, and become a TopStep funded trader today.